as a born 1, born 2, born 3, the first thing you need to do, maka. Second thing you need to do, maka. Third thing you need to do, maka. Fourth thing you need to do, na meka say, you have to first identify whether you are looking for a father figure for the children or you are looking for a husband for yourself. And in the story of this woman, she proved to all of us that she's not looking for anything, but she's looking for a husband. Now let me tell you, if I tell you the inconveniences a man goes through to marry a woman with a child.
I was here in C0uncil0r Lutheriodt and okay ya odini komo na on say nisem na oka no on say na oka say waka first one, waka second one, waka third one. Enu nti no fourth one ni e na ode be maye na ne komo no e wo pa enti nyabotre na yentie.
If I tell you the inconveniences a man goes through to marry a woman with a child, you will clap for yourself. And you give extra respect to a man who allows a woman with a child to be married by him, whether he has some of the children or not. Because hear me, if you're marrying a woman with 2 children, your rental or your accommodation plans must be affected. Hear me, the woman should come into the marriage, and that's what I say. No man should marry a woman who doesn't have the status of the father of the children. Don't marry a woman like that. Don't. A woman who have decided to take care of her own children will become a burden in the marriage, because when she brings the children into the marriage, she should be working, and instead of putting it in the pool, she'll be focusing on her children that she brought, because their father is not in the marriage. So they'll overprotect those children. And I've said it before, if you have a child, whether the father is with you, the father is not with you, raise the child to know the way they will go. So when they grow, they will not depart. But you always raise them to be part of you. It's wrong. What is it? Why should why should my child that I had with the mother meet me and refuse to greet me? Why should my child tell me that he hates me? What did you tell my child? I am not present. I'm not even giving you money to pay fees. We are not even in talking terms. It does not negate the fact that this child should grow with the empty mind that there's no father in his life. Anytime a child grows to realize that the mother says, I don't have a father, at the moment that happens, the child will punish you. And I keep repeating this word every day. A child that doesn't have a connection with the father will always punish the mother. So look at this girl's story. She's had 2 children. Their age difference is 6 years. Analyzing the story. The girl, who is the second born, is 6. The boy, who is the firstborn, is 12. She has never married before. This is her first marriage. But in her life story, these 2 children have 2 different fathers. She says she has struggled to find this husband. It means that when she had the first boy, from the first boy's connection, she kept on looking for a husband until the second born's father came to chop and left without marrying her. So she has lived her life with the firstborn 6 years and made the firstborn believe that I am your aunt.
I was sent to the counselor and I didn't come and I didn't say no candle. I was off for a beno. What's one never won't a crank, but you know, no, your veggie and come on a second one.
Made the firstborn believe that I am your Alpha and your Omega, Jimmy. How can you tell your son and daughter, you the mother, you are their Alpha and their Omega? How do you tell your son, I am your father and your mother? How? How do you tell your son, I am your mother and your father? So I hear a man telling the children without the wife's present that, look at me as your father and your mother. That's nonsense. It doesn't make sense. Because when you brood the children in this way, you are not raising them, you are rearing them like animals. Because if you are taking children into marriage and you don't take care, you will leave the marriage because of the children. And that's what this woman is doing. If you have lived with these children for 12 years, Why should this child disrespect a man paying the fees, a man providing shelter, a man who has given the mother the happiness that the mother deserves? Who born dog? Who born dog? That the man must come out to say that the boy has disrespected me, and the mother doesn't have the mentality of taking the child in beating mode to go and apologize to the man. How dare you? How dare you disrespect your stepfather? A man paying your fees and feeding you. A man giving us shelter. Or you are happy the way we're living because I was not married. I was not excited. For 3 years, whatever I was doing to take care of you, I'm able to save it to give you a better future. But you see, you have made your boy behave like men are nothing because you have disconnected these children from their father. Stylist and the rest of you. Once you disconnect a child from the father, the child will never become correct again. And I'll say it every day. Any child that doesn't have the father's blessing will never be a blessing but a burden to society. You can take it or leave it. Because if this woman has lived 12 years with a son, and the son can disrespect the current husband, then the child has not been raised well. Oh yes. Until Takulani, one year to say clamine. 1 year to say pet. You will buy a titino, no. And I'm Bema dear, or a Bema netiti Bema. I call it be a Bema netitino. But entitianing funny mammy. The fact that I didn't marry you doesn't mean that I cannot be in the life of my child. And being in the life of
Abusha Entino, hey, as a wo. Counselor the Lutheriodt. With Muse onono okasa with passion, okasa with boldness. Na enkomono kakra ewechiri. Sanjis also
be in the life of my child. And being in the life of my child is not to sit with the child. And I never papa in and I never papa now about it. So the fact that I am the father and I don't sit, the children should not have discipline. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? What are you saying? So, madam, your son has disrespected your husband. Keep this in your head. Madam, your son has disrespected your husband, not his father. Your child has not disrespected the father or a father figure. Your child has disrespected your husband. It depends on the character of the father. If the father himself doesn't have blessing, how then can he bless his child? It's not true. Every father has a blessing. Jemima, every father has a blessing. A drunkard father has a blessing. A fetish priest has a blessing. So be careful the blessing we are talking about. How do you say a father has to have a blessing? Hey, a man who has been able to impregnate a woman, you say he doesn't have a blessing. Be careful. You remember? Your son has not disrespected anybody but your husband. Will you allow your son to disrespect your husband? That's why I said sit. Are you looking for a father figure for your child or your children? Or you are looking for a husband for yourself? Because if you are looking for a husband for yourself, how dare you allow somebody disrespect your husband, a man who has brought value to yourself, a man who has brought happiness to your life, a man who has made you experience not living alone, a man who has created shelter for you to be able to come and live under his roof, fed you for 3 years with your children. Why will you allow somebody to kill your baker, burn the bakery, and for you to become useless? So, madam, You don't need to think twice. Even if it's a contorted lie that your husband is complaining that your son has disrespected him, this child should be beaten in the head and brought to the father to come in, and brought to your husband to come and apologize. But you have made your son to respect you and not any other person. What Jimmy Ruff?
I was at the Councillor Lutheriodt, and I didn't come on and come be saying, or Kasa when in New York, and Councillor has been a councillor. Lutheriodt has been a councillor for so many years. And you know, him sema waka. And yes, be or body trim and waka. What I say? Because at the end of friend our reno, Yama many papa money and an mama ya west. At the end of Kwawa. Intine ya botre and a decision be a bit to keep no. I was so young, but take game 50 prakupe boom. Was a mekoware massa. And yeah, easy. People also think that once I have the money, I can marry. But trust me, I was a bro. We are here, and I say, Ghana ha. Omo you don't judge omo. And yes, if you want to mean chop money, but there is something behind the scene. You yourself, you are not aware. Into a gradual process, and kakra bo say now will climb to the top. Tell us your Councillor Lutheriodt. Ne come our wedding on highway. You do be subscribe, nice notification bell, so send the candy dear Shakro Bibia. Stay safe.